Hey, it's me, Size7, and this is part 40 of my Library of Ruina walkthrough. You're probably wondering why we're starting here, and it's because we're going to be finishing off Star of the City with Xiao, and I want to cover her, kind of what happens to her in a Liu Section 1 story, and you can only see this one portion of the post-battle when you finish this fight, so we're going to do that now. Everything's all set up, and let's get to it. Kind of the price you pay for having the option to make the story non-linear. As you can see, Chun got turned into a book and Xiao and Miris ran away. And this is the scene I'm talking about. As you can see, Xiao is looking a little different. Let me go. It's not over yet. I still... Please calm down, director. You could have fled alone if you were so afraid. Explain why you had to drag me along. Yeah, and I don't really like the idea because the last time we saw them was in part 32, and so obviously it's been quite a while. And they've kind of just been sitting in the entrance of the library while I've gone off and like killed abnormalities, beat up Yawn, and stuff like that. Just a little weird. See, they've just been sitting in the entrance this whole time. Fine, I don't need to hear another word from you. You're so fearful of death, leave me and escape by yourself. I wouldn't have brought you with me if I were such a coward, fearing for my life. There has to be some reason you've done this then. Your reasoning is unsatisfactory. Know that there will be consequences to your actions. Director. Your battle will be nothing more than a messy scrape if you try to keep up in your current state, ma'am. You have to have realized it yourself. Out of my way. Step aside. I am as composed as I can be. Can't even best your own subordinate right now, director. There's nothing composed about charging blindly into the fray and brandishing your sword like a mad woman. They're foes that we must destroy anyway. In fact, I would argue that it's better this way, as I can firmly grasp my blade with an undaunted heart, unshaken by fear. Even if they were opponents that weren't such a fight, wielding your blade while you've lost yourself will only yield a pointless and juvenile revenge. They say anger is needed in order to face the enemy. An excess of that emotion will ultimately hurt yourself. Fury shouldn't be the only motivation to bestir oneself. I thought you knew this well, director. You're the one who taught me that I'll spill my own blood if I can't see where the edge of my sword is pointed, after all. I have no resolve to show to those who have taken what is mine. Obviously, she's referring to Lawel. They have the nerve to make an offer where we must put our lives on the line to earn it back. Such absurdity. Now tell me why I should treat them with any courtesy. Even then, it's not how Lawel would have reacted. But please, Xiao, gather your senses.
미리스, 나도 알고 있다. 로웨를 포함한 리우 이과 전원은 도서관이 앗아간 게 아니란
I am aware. I know that the library didn't snatch Lawel and Section 2 away from us.
그들 또한 정당한 대가를 걸고 내기를 했고
I'm well aware that they took a fair offer and made a bet and paid the rightful price for losing it.
하지만 인정할 수 없는 걸 어떡하나?
But what can I do when I simply cannot bring myself to accept that?
그것이 온전한 그들의 의지라고 할 수 있는가?
Was it truly done of their own volition?
그 결정에서 조금의 압박도 없었겠냔 말이다.
Can anyone say with utmost certainty that no coercion was involved in their decision?
그런 생각이 들 때마다 난 냉정하게
Whenever my mind was
할
plagued
수가
with such
없었다.
thoughts, I couldn't make rational judgment.
춘과 협회원들이 죽어서 그래서 이러는 거야?
Is it because Chun and the other fixers are dead? Is that why you're acting like this?
그래. 나도 처음에는 내 몸만 지키면
You would be
된다고
right. At first, I
생각했지.
thought I only had to care about my own safety.
로웰의 책만 얻을 수
As long as I could get my hands on Lowell's book.
이 모든 것이 끝나고 불행인열한
I decided that I wouldn't care about my surroundings, even if that meant I would have no one to rely on once everything was over.
하지만 한
But
명씩
as I saw my
죽어나가는 걸
colleagues die out
생각이
one by
흔들리더라고.
one, my mind began to waver.
내가 정말 옳은 길을 가고 있는가?
Am I truly going down the righteous path?
정말 오로지 나만
Is it truly right as a
생각하는
human being to think of
썩어버린
myself
일이냔 말이다.
and only myself?
나를 믿고 따르는 이들이 죽었는데 이를
When the many of
묵인하고
those who trusted me and followed me have perished, should I overlook their deaths and keep moving forward?
나 하나밖에 모르는 이기적인 마음이
My selfishness is causing harm to others. Shouldn't I stop it before it's too late? Shouldn't I save those who still have a chance?
후회하는 게 아닌가? 선택을 해야 한다면 어느 쪽의 피해를 감수해야 하는가?
If I had to make a choice, who should be putting up with the hardship?
너희인가?
Is it you or I?
이리스, 답해다오.
Iris, answer me.
무엇을 더 중요히 여겨야 할지.
I'm no longer certain what I should put first.
난 그것에 대한 답을 너에게 줄 수 없어. 내가 어떻게 너보다 더 많은 걸 알고 있겠어. 네가 알고 있듯 난 너보다 현명하지 않아.
I'm not one to give you an answer for that. How should I know better than you about yourself? You know I'm not in any way wiser than you.
하지만 샤오,
Here's what I can say, Xiao. None of the fixers who followed you here were forced by anyone to do so, and I'm no different.
우리가 믿고 따르는 것에
There can't be any compulsion about trusting you and willingly following your lead, now can there?
매몰차다고 할 수 있지만 모든 이가 그렇듯 권세를
Call it
쫓아왔다는
heartless,
그
but as
힘이
with everyone
쇠해졌을
else,
때 떠났겠지.
if it was your power that we were after, we would have left you once your authority faded.
넌 리우 일과 부장을 그만뒀어. 이제
You
우리에게
stepped down
압박을 줄수
from
있는
Liu
존재도
Section
아니고
1.
우리가 의무적으로
You're not in the
믿고 따라야
position
하는
to
존재도
pressure us
아니고.
anymore, and we aren't obligated by any duty to obey you.
너희가 날 믿고 움직일 수 있듯 나도 계속 믿던 걸
What you're saying is that I can stick to my belief and move on, the same way you kept believing in me and acted for me.
향이 좋은 차를 반나절 마신다 한들
Like a cup of tea that maintains its good scent after half is gone and a quarter of a day has passed. Is that like a common phrase? I've never heard that before.
샤오?
Xiao?
무슨 소리가 들리지 않는가?
Don't you hear a sound?
이 세상의 것이 아닌 듯한 따뜻하고
A warm
아름다운
and charming
목소리가
voice, almost as if it were out of this world.
우리 둘의 소리밖에 안 들리는데 무슨 말을 하는
What are you
거야?
talking about? I don't hear anything other than our own voices.
뭐?
What?
네 말은 틀려. 아니,
You're wrong.
맞을지도
No.
모르지.
Maybe there is truth to what you said.
내가 이기적이라고?
Are you calling me selfish?
난 그렇게 생각하지 않아.
No, I don't think so.
인간은 혼자서 살아갈 수 없다.
Human cannot live alone.
그렇게 된다면
No man is an
금방
island
죽어버리고 말
entire
거야.
of itself.
다른 누군가가 필요해.
It needs someone else.
그래.
Yes.
내가 살려줄 사람.
Someone whom I will keep alive.
그리고
Someone who will become the reason for me to keep on living, no matter what.
내가 곁에 있음으로써 다른 누군가가 살아갈 수 있고
Someone can be alive because
그
I am
사람이
there
죽지
with
않을 수
them.
있음과
Because
동시에
that person can live thanks
나
to me.
역시
I myself
죽어서는 안
should
된다.
not expire.
너희를 지키며
A way to protect
또한
you all
지키는
and myself at the same time.
내가 죽어서는 안 된다.
I shouldn't die.
나를 챙기는 것이.
By cherishing myself, I am cherishing the people around me.
그러니까 네 말은 맞지 않아.
Therefore, what you're saying
그런 꼬임에
isn't right.
넘어가지 않아.
Won't be deceived by your temptation.
그래.
Yes, I suppose this is what you meant when you said a selfish mind shouldn't be viewed negatively. You can see her armor's changed, because over here it's a suit, and now she actually has like a plate on.
미안하다. 제 감정을
Sorry,
못 이겨
I have let my own
올곧게
emotions
이끌지
overwhelm me and failed to lead you rightly.
내게 그리고 모두에게 사과하는 건
This will be the last time I apologize to you and everyone else.
메리스. 난 당장 어두움으로
Iris,
앞을 볼
I'm still in the dark and I cannot see ahead.
사실은 두렵고
I'm frankly afraid, and I might stray onto the wrong path sometimes.
하지만
However,
나아가면
I trust
끝내
myself
옳은
to
길로
return
갈
to the
수
proper
있겠지.
way as I stoutly press onward.
앞이 안 보이는
Just
것이
because I cannot see the way ahead does not mean that a way doesn't exist.
설마 에고를 발현한 건가?
She manifest ego just now?
필립처럼 불완전하지만
It certainly resembled ego, although it was incomplete like Philip's.
혼자서 중얼거리기까지 하던데.
She was mumbling to herself, but it sounded like she was talking to someone. Oh, there's that voice.
우리는 들을 수 없었지만
The voice we couldn't hear, but Xiao could.
마치
Kinda like abnormalities.
환상체 같다니?
What do you mean by that?
이곳에서 환상체의 힘을 빌릴 때도
I can hear
무슨
some sort of
목소리가
voices
들리거든.
whenever I borrow strength from the abnormalities here.
그 목소리는 다른 사서가 들을 수 없어. 오직 나에게만 들리지.
Other librarians can't hear what I hear. The voice is only audible to one person.
어떨 때는 머리가 울릴 정도로
Sometimes a voice filled with rage rings through my head, and other times I hear a sorrowful wail.
어쩌다 보니 내가
My mind gets sorta shaken by those voices somehow.
한다고 해야 하나? 나 역시 속에서
Listening to it sometimes makes me feel something is boiling up inside me, or cooling my head down all of a sudden.
너와 게브라가 듣는 목소리와 저 목소리는
I think the voice Xiao heard is different from the ones you and Deborah hear.
어떤 점이?
In what way?
너희가 듣는 목소리는
The voices you hear will only say whatever they want to say one-sidedly.
물론
I'm sure there are
예외도
exceptions,
있겠지만
but most will
대부분은 그래.
probably behave that way.
하지만 샤오와 그 목소리는 대화를 하고 있었어.
On the other hand, Xiao was talking with the voice. She was in a conversation with whispers that seemed to want something to happen to her. I'm not so sure. We don't have solid evidence to prove that the voice was different just yet.
어쨌든
Anyhow, we gotta receive her before anything. Problem is, how we're gonna deal with that figurative beast of a person. We're just gonna use the red mist, obviously. So I am gonna go over what I'm running for this fight, because this is a boss fight. Red mist, the strongest, Miao's prowess, fervor, keeping in stride. Obviously, just taking advantage of all the power gain I can have. In terms of deck, just basically same stuff I've been running. Talon's page, just really strong Pierce dice with Pierce damage, Pierce stagger, and Mind Hauler to recover stagger resist because I'm not running a lot of evade on him. I do have Laceration to apply a whole bunch of bleed and inflicting feeble. That's pretty good. Esther's page. Yeah, pretty much just all the prescript stuff for boosting power. I am running Blind Faith. This is going to be an interesting card. Keep an eye on that. Everything else pretty standard. The Purple's Tear page. I haven't showed this off. I kind of wish... Wait, I can't show it to all the decks. So you're probably wondering, hey, why are you running Overcharge, you psychopath? You become immobilized when you use this. Well, with Purple Tear in her guard stance, she actually doesn't get affected by status changes like this. So you can use this to spam it, and as you can see, I've set up using Wedge and Pierce with high-level acrobatics to boost the Pierce dice. We also don't have to worry about low rolls too much because of the manipulator of odds. We roll the minimum, and it re-rolls. So we actually have a pretty good chance of consistently rolling mid to high with those. And then Nikolai's page, just because, you know, it's a boss, we can get this finishing touch on to deal 50% additional damage, as well as giving strength and endurance to everyone. Just a pretty solid support deck. And we do have 2 floors available. Let's get to it, because this is going to be a fun one. Just don't have regrets. Yes, you can trust me now. And for Xiao, she pretty much has the same stuff that we need to worry about. Force of Wildfire, obviously these guys do a lot of burn, and they get this effect. Let's see, where is it? I don't see it here. Okay, we'll see it when they hit us, but they do apply an effect. So coordinated assault here, give 1 strength, 2 protection, and 2 stagger protection to a random other ally. So we want to focus most of our damage on nearest this scene, because the 2 protection, 2 stagger protection is kind of noxious. And we just want to make sure we win out on these clashes. Okay, so this should be a pretty good first turn. And really solid rolls there. So this is the effect I was talking about. Force of Wildfire. This character becomes staggered within the next 1 scene. All of their allies are inflicted with burn equal to half of the amount of burn this character had at the start of the next scene. We're going to want to pay attention to those and make sure we don't get like everyone inflicted with fire, because it has a really bad kind of compounding effect to it. As we can see, Xiao is using coordinated assault here, so we want to focus doing damage on her. Okay, I want to mitigate that damage. 13 to 28 is kind of brutal. I'll clash with that there. And I don't want to take this one-sided. Alright. Alright, Virus is using Coordinated Assault now. So I'll put damage on him. Hopefully I can stagger him this scene. That's what I'll be aiming for. Actually, I want to keep Mark on Xiao for next scene. I'll do some one-sided hits here. That'll put me at 15. I can still use this for the light gain and draw. Okay, we got the stagger. I was actually worried we weren't gonna get it there. Okay, now pray for even more bonus damage on marked targets. And she's mass attacking. 3-7, 8-20 mass individual. Not a very fun flash. I don't think that's enough damage to kill him. I'll play that there. Okay, so one of my guys got staggered. Because of me, your existence perishes like a fleeting dream in a drunken haze. Oh, yeah, we got the stagger on her. Does she have bleed? Does. I think I'll just take absorption. Better roll and mimicry. Who do I want to take her down with? Again, my emotion levels, I would say maybe Olive. I don't know if I'll be able to, fortunately. Just use this one attack and then... If she doesn't take her down, then he will. Alright, should finish it. Oh no, she's locked at 0 HP.
전부 죽었구나. 아무도 남아있지 않아.
You've all died. No one remains by my side.
이곳에서 너희는 끝까지 나와 함께 싸웠고
In here, you fought with me till the end
사라졌지.
and perished.
혼자 남아있는 모습이 항룡 유해하기에 그지 없구나.
Feel lonely as a dragon soaring in the air, my heart heavy with regret.
어둠밖에 없다. 앞이 보이지 않아.
I only see darkness. I can't see a step ahead. Well, our eyes are closed.
어디로 나아가야 할까?
Where must I go?
발을 내디딜 수
Where does the
있는
courage to put one's foot forward come from?
너희는 대체 무엇을 그리 끝까지 믿었나?
What did you believe in so firmly until your last moments?
이길 수 있다는 희망, 굳센 지도자, 혹은 책을 얻겠다는 목적.
Was it the hope that we will emerge victorious, strong leader, or the goal of earning the books?
안타깝게도 지금은 대답을 들을 수가 없구나.
I sadly won't be able to hear your answers now.
하지만 생을 위해 숨이 잠시 머무르고 다시 돌아가기 위해 흩어지듯 언젠가 다시 너희를 만나 물을 날이 오겠지.
However, as the breath of life momentarily rests inside us before it scatters to return to its source, I'll meet you again one day, and I may ask you my question then.
또 너인가? 끈질기게도 말을 거는군.
You again. You're one persistent conversationalist, are you not?
난 내가 스스로 불러온 절망에 주저앉고
I won't collapse or succumb to fear out of the despair I brought onto myself.
인간이 그리고 내가 극복하지 못할 건 없어.
There's nothing that a human, that I cannot overcome.
참고 견디어 굳세게 나아가면 최상의 결과에 도래할 것이라 믿고 있다. 정말 순수하게 믿고 있어.
I believe that I will reach the ideal consequence if I remain steadfast and proceed with perseverance. I sincerely, ingenuously believe this.
아니야. 그런 것에 주저앉을 필요 없어. 절망이 없다면 희망 또한 필요 없어져.
No, there's no need to be disheartened in the face of such a thing. Without despair, hope won't be needed either.
희망이 있기에 두려움이 생기지만 두려움이 있기에 용기가 존재하고.
Fear is born, for there is hope, but bravery is born because there is fear.
이 모든 게 없다면 삶이 없다. 살아야 할 이유가 없는 것과 마찬가지니.
Without all these, there is no life. What is life without a reason to live?
내가 어떻게 이 생동함을 느끼지 않겠는가?
But why would I not bask in the sensation of vitality,
여전히 난 나를 위해 싸울 것이다.
but still fight for my own sake?
나를 위해 목숨 바친 동료들을 무시하겠다는 게 아니야.
Not to disregard the colleagues who gave their lives for me.
아니, 어쩌면 내가 여기서 너희 때문에 주저앉는 것이 무시하는 행위일 수도 있지.
No. Rather, I would be disregarding their sacrifice if I gave up here because of what happened to them.
네 말은 끝까지 내 마음에 들지 않는군.
I don't see myself ever agreeing with your words.
홀로 선 나무는 숲을 이룰 수 없다라. 재밌는 이야기야.
A lone tree cannot form a forest on its own, you say. An interesting tale. And Xiao's back with some scary cards. Mass Summation, 25-30 on hit, inflict 8 burn. Now, let's see, 4 cost, just 1 dice, on hit, inflict 2 burn to all enemies, 15-28. Pretty brutal. Mass Individual, gain 2 strength, endurance next scene. 5-10-4-9, inflicting more burn. Pretty good card. Looks difficult to clash with. Defensive dice, draw 2 pages, that's good. And then as for passives, dice power +1. At the start of the scene, inflict 2 burn on all enemies. So that's going to go well with that one that if anyone gets staggered, everyone else gets burned. Okay, so all characters are uninfluenced by any effect on power for the scene. Pulao activates on the first scene and then activates every 2 scenes. So that's going to be interesting. Reverse scale, every scene uses a combat page that deals stagger damage to self but grants strength if it loses it in clash. Stagger resist is not fully recovered even if the character is restored from stagger or an act ends. So the moment you stagger her, you can pretty much kill her. Take no damage from burn. When inflicted with a status element that isn't burned, reduce the amount by half. So that's talking about like bleed, paralysis, things like that. So she has fervor. At emotion level 3, she gains 1 power on offensive dice. And then we've seen these 2. Alright.
비록 혼자여도 밤은 찾아온다.
Even if I am alone, night will come.
그리고 새벽이 오지 않는 밤은 없지.
And every night is followed by dawn.
한낮 사라질 별 따위가 떠오르는 태양의 빛을 이길 수 있을까?
A mere star that will fade cannot hope to best the light of the rising sun.
각오해라. 오늘 도시에 별 하나가 질 테니.
Be prepared, for today a star of the city shall be gone. Oh no. Here we go. The Great Filter of Library of Ruina. Okay. That song is Iron Lotus. So, as for this fight, as you saw last scene, no one was affected by power. That's her kind of gimmick. And this is the thing, reverse scale. This is the whole like gimmick to the fight, and that's why I let this one-sidedly hit Tooth here, because clashing with it would have given her 4 strength and endurance next scene, which would mean that now everyone is being affected by power gain or loss this scene. So now what will happen is I can actually activate this reverse scale thing. She'll take the 70 stagger damage, gain 4 strength and endurance next scene. The next scene, her power, this Pulao, will activate and everyone will be uninfluenced by power. So then we don't have to worry about the 4 strength and endurance. So sometimes the trick to this fight is that you have to take this one-sided attack. And it really sucks that she keeps using it to target my lowest health character. Now we can get some good damage going. And I really need to win this clash. You can see I switched to guard stance. I think the burn should just disappear next scene. I have like no draw right now. Yeah, I really need to win this clash here though. I think this is my best bet. Yep, all those counter dice. I had a feeling I really shouldn't have clashed those. Okay, we got reverse scale, so we got that 70 stagger damage. I got 2 characters really low. They're probably gonna end up dying. And there goes Red Mist. Always interrupting. Okay, so now she's using this and another mass attack. As you can see, she would be gaining the strength and enduring this scene, but her whole 5 power thing activated, so we don't have to worry about it. That being said though, we also don't want to activate reverse scale again, because next scene she will be gaining the power again. Oh man, I'm getting really bad draw on these characters. It's so unfortunate. Okay, how many counter dice is she gonna have? 3? Yeah, I think Mika's gonna die. So what I'll do here is we'll sacrifice her off. I'm going to actually take these clashes. But at least everything else can be one-sided. All I have to deal with is the counter dice. Alright, as good as it'll get. Yep, and Mika's gone. And now everything's one-sided, so her sacrifice won't be forgotten. It was not in vain. That being said, Tooth is probably next. Okay, now the theme song's back. And we're back to getting power. She gains a lot. I think she must have used a card that gives her power. Again, Tooth's gonna die, so I'm going to take as many clashes as I can with him here. Activate reverse scale, which will actually be rolling for an 8/8 because of the 3 power she has. I guess something I didn't know, Mika's mark is still here. That's cool. Trying to be really careful with my clashes here. Guess I can also hit with mimicry. Alright. Hope we hit reverse scale. Alright, great split vertical doing work. Look at that power. Oh man, I wasn't even counting on Thing dying here. At least in this turn. Okay, we got the reverse scale. She's getting close to staggered. A broken mirror may not reflect my image in whole, alas. Hey, I only got Shell just in time. We could use it to stop all stagger on her. Alright, power's nullified. But I just need... Oh man, if I could play that, that would be perfect. Realistically, I just need a one-sided hit to go through and deal 9 stagger damage. I have just the card. We'll just use Onrush for that. There we go. Oh man, this fight is absolutely insane. Like I said, it's one of the great filters of the game. As her burn can get really out of control. I can rest without regret, knowing that you'll find yourself not so far from me like this. That's Xiao. Hey, cool. I haven't seen this before. So everyone that played in the fight got her horns. Except Olive? Why is Olive not being included?
결국
That's messed
샤오도
up.
책이 되었네.
In the end, Xiao has become a book.
그래도 다른 녀석처럼 무너진 모습을 보이진 않았어. 저렇게까지
Didn't break down like the other kid with the power did, at least. I was actually amazed by how unswerving her determination could be.
무슨 생각을 그렇게 깊이 해?
All steep in thought again? What is it this time?
필립과 샤오를 보고 나름대로 생각해봤어.
I've been thinking about the distinctions between ego and the distortion after watching Philip and Xiao.
둘은 비슷하면서도
The
달랐지.
two were similar, yet different.
공통점이랑 차이점이
They clearly had some
확실했으니까.
things in common, but the contrast was apparent as well.
그래? 어떻게
Really?
생각하는데?
Tell me your thoughts then.
아마 뒤틀림 너머로 가지 않도록 잡아주는 게 있는 것 같아.
I think there's something that can restrain one from reaching the point of the distortion.
에고나 뒤틀림이
They both had highly unstable emotions, enough to touch the threshold of manifesting ego or distortion, and those emotions had a similar nature.
이기적인 마음.
Egoism
자기 자신만 위하는
is in the
마음.
mindset of only caring about your own interests.
그래.
That's it.
같은 이기적인
The two
마음으로도
interpreted that same selfishness in disparate ways, however.
어쨌든 그 마음은
As that selfish mind had the potential to change the self, the two were able to take a form resembling ego, albeit incompletely.
하지만 필립은 그조차
Philip's
완전하지
mindset
못했지.
was flawed even in his awakening, however. He still had distrust in the back of his mind.
그건 샤오도 마찬가지인 것 같던데.
I think Xiao had the same problem too. She didn't look like she had full conviction at the start. It took some time for her to make up her mind.
여기서 그 둘의 차이점이
That's where the two
나오는 거야.
differ, as far as I can see.
난 그 이유가
It had something to do with the voices only they could hear, I believe.
목소리라.
The voices, huh?
그래.
Indeed. Philip's mind was in such a vulnerable state, even Oswald's words could crack him.
플루토가 귀 기울이라는 그 목소리가
I don't
대체
know
무슨
what the
말을
disembodied
했는지,
voice Pluto told Philip to
필립은
pay
정말
close
그
attention
목소리에
to
무너진 건지
said,
잘
or if the
모르겠지만
voice really was the last straw that broke him.
샤오를 보면
I
조금은
could
추측할 수
speculate a
있지.
little based on what we saw of Xiao.
샤오는 들리는 그
She didn't give in to the
목소리에
voice
주저앉지
whispering to
않고
her.
오히려
Instead, her will
더
solidified
견고해졌어.
further.
그리고 완전한 자신만의
She managed to
에고가
fully
발현했고.
manifest her own ego.
맞아.
Right.
그 목소리에
She was able
대항할
to
수
resist the
있었던
voice's snare.
그
I wonder why
이유가
she
뭘까?
could.
전에 저 녀석이 말했던 대로
Might be what she
소중한 건
said
뭐니
when
했던
she first
그런
came
것들
here.
아니야?
Precious things and whatever.
정확히는 인간을 움직이게 하는 그 모든
All the
것
things that motivate humans to live, to be precise.
하나로 특정할 수 없겠지.
I guess it's not something that can be pinned down to one specific element. Each person cherishes different things.
아마 에고가 뒤틀림의 경계선을 넘어가지 않도록 잡아주는 게 아니려나.
Maybe ego is the thing that keeps one from crossing the line of the distortion.
항상 팽팽하게
It's like walking a
외줄타기라는 것은
tightrope at all times. One wrong step and you crash to the ground.
롤랑, 네 말이 맞는 것 같아.
I suppose you're right, Roland.
하지만 이상해.
It's weird though.
마음만으로
It can't be
변할 수
possible
없는
to make any
세상이라고
changes with just willpower in this
적어도
world. It's not how this city works.
이제 세상이 변하려나 보지.
Maybe the world is about to change then.
그렇게 간단히 이야기할 수 있는 게
It's not as
아니야.
simple as that.
도시의
This power
상태를
really has the
뒤바꿀
potential to
정도의
shift the ecology
언제
of the
머리에서
city.
손을 대도
The head could
이상하지
take
않아.
action at any time.
머리가 개입해도 변하는 건 없어.
Even if the head does intervene, it won't make a difference.
똑같이
Simply,
손님으로서 맞이해줄
we'll simply
뿐이지.
greet them as guests, like any other. She says it so casually. Impuritas, Civitatis. Scene 7. And the reason I am living is only because I am looking for what I have lost.
롤랑, 그거 알아?
You know what, Roland?
요즘 기분이 매우 좋아.
I've been feeling ecstatic these days. The memories are fading.
악덕 기업에서 받은 가혹.
I mean the harsh memories of working in that awful corporation?
맞아. 그
Yes,
잔인했던 시간.
those cruel times.
보고 싶지도 기억하고 싶지도 않은
Things I
것들이
didn't want to see are
힘내게
becoming
흩어져가.
faint. The things I didn't want to remember are melting away.
이제 눈을 감아도 떠오르는
When I close my eyes, the moments that come to remembrance are of 3 or 4 days ago, not 1 million years in the past.
내 선택을 통해 쟁취한
They are the times of my own,
나만의 시간이지.
claimed through my own choice.
그리고 그 어느 때보다
And the flow of time
시간이
is
빠르게
faster
흐르고
than
있어.
ever for me.
인간보다 100배 느리게 느끼는
No longer
시간의
shackled
구속에
to the fetter
얽히지
of perceiving the hours 100 times slower than humans do.
않아. 날마다
I
기분이
feel
좋아지는
happier
거 있지?
with each new day, you know?
그렇게 행복한 모습은 처음이네.
I've never seen you looking so happy before.
뒤틀림으로 인해
What do you think of the city and its people that are breaking down because of the distortion, though?
그건 마냥 웃을
That
수만은
I can't
없네.
quite receive with a smile.
그래도 날 100만 년
Still,
동안
the
가둔
despicable man who had
가증스러운
locked me up
그놈의
for
이꼴을
1 million
보면
years
절망하겠지.
would fall to despair if he saw what's happening now.
그래.
Yes,
절망할
he'll
거야.
endlessly despair.
자신의 멍청하고 어설픈 계획으로 인해
His idiotic and flawed plan caused more people to wallow in agony.
곧 대가를 치르기까지
He's going to pay his
머지
price
않았어.
in full soon enough.
네가 말하는 복수는 최종적으로 도시를 무너뜨리는 거야?
About this revenge you're trying to get, are you going to bring down the whole city at the end of it?
무너뜨리다니?
Bring down?
아니야.
No. I told you my aim before.
사선은 나와
I will
함께
become free
자유로워질 거야.
along with the librarians.
뿐만 아니라
On top of that, the abnormalities that are wandering inside this library lacking a physical form will be able to leave.
도시에 힘 있는 자들을 집어삼키며 성장한
Garnering strength by devouring powerful individuals, the abnormalities would roam the city as they like. Jeez, that's messed up.
그저 풀어줄 뿐이야.
That's what my plan is.
원하는 걸 할
I'm
수
setting them
있도록.
free to do whatever they want,
그리고 그 어떤
and they'll leave a
뒤틀림보다
mark deeper than any distortion could on the city.
이 모든 방법은
One
단
absolute
하나의
and perfect
길을
book
알려줄
shall be the guide to teach me how to do it all.
푸른 또라이랑 같은 사상이네.
You got the same ideas as the blue sicko out there, huh?
만사 해결이겠어.
The two of you would make wonderful partners in crime.
달라.
You're
마음이
wrong.
달라.
There's a world of difference.
뒤틀림이나
I have no
환상치가
interest in the
자아내는
beauty
아름다운
that distortions or abnormalities can arouse.
아름답든
I simply want them to live as they
관계없이
wish, whether they're
그저
beautiful
원하는 대로
or
살게 해주고
unsightly.
싶을 뿐이야. 게다가 설사 푸른
Besides,
사냥과 내
even if the
뜻이
blue
비슷하더라도
reverberations' intentions were
그런
similar
놈한테
to
내
mine,
소중한 걸
I would
넘길
never
수
give
없지.
away my precious possession to a man like that.
그 행동이 어떤 결과를 부르든 복수의
Do you just want to
즐거움을
feel the
느끼면
joy of
된다.
vengeance, whatever the consequences of your actions might be?
그렇게 해야 하는 거야.
That's what I must
난
do.
대본을 읊으며
I was
수많은
forced to
죽음을
witness
봐야
countless
했어.
deaths while reciting a script like a promptess.
그 반복 속에서
Such
내가 보고
things
배운 건
Are all I
이런
could watch and learn. I have to do what I can do
내가 잘할 수 있는
well.
일을 해야 하잖아. 이런 일밖에.
It's the only thing I know how to do.
그리고 이제는
I have to feel joy as I witness the fall of the plan devised by the man I love yet hate.
즐거워하지 않으면 안 돼. 물론
Even though it's not enjoyable
도시와
to see the
인간을
city and its
괴로워하는
people suffer because of
유쾌하지
me.
않지만 그렇지만 행복해하지 않으면 안 되는 거야.
I still have to feel happy. I'm obliged to.
이날만을 기다렸으니까.
What I've been wanting,
지금까지
or excuse me, it's It's what I've been waiting for until now.
이런 일이 아니라면
If I don't do this, I won't be compensated for the million
그
years
어디에서도
of
보답받을 수
lone
없는 거라고.
suffering. Nowhere else would I be repaid.
복수의 마음은 여전해.
I still long for vengeance. However,
됐어.
forget it. I could spend all day thinking it over, but I'd reach the same conclusion regardless.
반드시 단
I'll
하나의
find the
책을
one book
찾아
at all costs and
소망을
make my wish come true.
다음이 있다면
There is next time, and it might be nice to have someone else to think about it together, rather than just grappling with it alone.
그것도 나쁘지 않겠네.
I suppose that's not a bad idea.
그리고
And then,
전에
as I
말한 대로
previously said,
세상을 돌아다니고
I want to
싶어.
travel around the world.
분명 재밌을
It will
거지.
certainly be fun.
내가 모든 짐을
Once I've laid down
내려놓는다면
all the burdens, of course.
그래. 이 모든 일이 끝난다면
Alright, let's give that plan some good thought after we're done with everything. As the transfer custom is increased from 10 to 12. Cool. That's just this. I can put more points into here if I wanted to. And let's burn some books. Yeah, I got everything. So now I can read all of Liu Section 1. I skipped previously because I knew we're going to run into this. So a Liu Section 1 fixer. To a leader of the Liu, the most crucial element that can make or break a battle is vigor, not the competence or strength of individuals. With vigor, even the weakest creek can carry heavy rocks like a gale blowing up leaves. Therefore, an excellent leader chooses good fixers and then puts vigor into them. Strength or skill alone won't make a good fixer. While those traits do play a role in the higher sections, the most important quality is how well the fixer meshes with their leader's combat style. Section 2, the team with Mei and Cecil, consists of careful and level-headed fixers. They go quite well with Director Lowell because of that. Section 1 would clearly be superior in terms of sheer power, but we follow different strategies with pros and cons for each. So a direct comparison won't really tell much about our actual performance in the field. Pretty cool. Now here's June. Right now, Nest L is practically a war zone with all the associations, syndicates, and fixers at each other's throats. On top of that, the distortions are making things worse for associations and the residents of the Nest. According to the report from the powers up above, there are 3 major factions of note currently remaining in the Nest: the Index, ArcCorp, and the Blue Verberation and his group. ArcCorp seem to be eliminating threats as per request from another wing, similar to what the Liu is doing. Index appears to have been guided here by the prescripts. After all, they gladly obeyed the piece of paper telling them to kill every member of the Thumb in the Nest. As a result, pretty much every Thumb crook and the Syndicate's subsidiaries that were in this place are goners. Even the underboss who was supposed to lead them kicked the bucket, so you can guess how it went. And that was all a pretty bloody ordeal. He got put on spikes. Now here's Muris. Director Xiao liked to emphasize something. A mercenary's work is to deceive, fool the enemy into believing that we are advancing when we defend, make the enemy believe we will thrust from the front when we strike from above, feign submission when you raise your claws, must seem unable when able to attack, but the enemy may grow arrogant. When the enemy is roused, distract them through disturbance. Be aware that we ourselves are not subject to such anger. In order to defeat the enemy, we must be roused to anger. Remember that one's emotions must remain a means to motivate the body and not the ends, and to exploit the enemy's wrath with this in mind. The director may be seized with anger and momentarily stray into inadvisable paths sometimes. Even the whitest jade has a flaw. Trust her to set herself back on the right track in no time. Now for Xiao, and she gets her own little section. He's such a boss. Alright. I was in no way a soft person, though I don't view myself as particularly tough or rugged either. A straight and honest person. Accusations would be brought against me for being unmoved by the death of any person, however close they may have been in life. A point not everyone would see as criticism. How could a person be so cold and heartless, even if the basic bearing of a fixer is to look after oneself first and foremost? At first, I spent much time thinking over it, and asked myself many questions. Xiao as a person valued the lives of her colleagues, although her position forced her to keep her farewell to deceased teammates short, since carrying out her duty and emerging victorious came first. Shedding fewer drops of tears than the number of fallen was always the tribute I could pay. Bawling my eyes out would have stirred uneasiness in my colleagues. In the early days, the responsibility sometimes felt too heavy and burdensome. I had never once thought that my method was incorrect. I believed it to be the best method for myself, and I deemed that problems couldn't be solved any other way. Most fixers will probably think in the same way. Therefore, I could not understand the manners of Lowell, the newly appointed Section 2 director at the time. A person who tries to look after everyone and doesn't hide his grief-stricken face when a coworker passes away. It seemed clear as crystal that his tenderness would one day lead his team to death, yet he was faring better than I thought, a polar opposite to me. The ways I wanted to pursue but gave up because I was faced with my limitations might have upset me for a moment. A principle I could not follow, for I was not allowed to openly express sadness over the death of the few in order to protect the many. My obligation to seize any chance of victory compelled me to march forward if there was something to count on. My capability wasn't vast enough to embrace every member of the team. Was my choice wrong? What did he have that I did not? Looking back, I don't think what I felt was envy or jealousy. Indignation certainly was not a toxic emotion. I'm sure each of us had different specialties. It is said that people intersect with one another in some manner. I don't think the process to be natural at all. I was not a believer of fateful meetings. After all, two parallel roads could never cross. A relationship begins with a desire to know, simple curiosity, to know more about a person or to go further and see what they are seeing together. People open up new roads to merge into the roads of others for various reasons. I thought I would never care about him since he was so different from me. My expectations weren't quite right. I wanted to learn more about him, and I wanted to know what this emotion I felt was, and I thought I could perhaps become a better person if I saw what he was seeing together. There's one thing I realized, it's that relationships between people always start from such small curiosity. Taking in what I have said so far, you would think that this is such a peculiar and untruthful love. You might think it's fussy. I cannot give out a clear answer, for I can't dare define what love is. What could I say or add about an emotion I felt for the first time? One that I am still struggling to figure out. Furthermore, every person carries a different form of love. There will undoubtedly be some people who don't place such importance on that emotion. Might even think that such emotion is absolutely useless in this city. Even if I were to define my love, this wouldn't come across as a sweet story if you cannot understand it. However, I can be certain that my sentiment towards Lowell was sincere. So-called curiosity and sympathy, they bring about attention, admiration, and a little bit of deception. I learned soon enough that this isn't much different from what people call love. It may not have been something out of a fairy tale or a drama, but we still cherished each other in our little relationship. Perhaps I had been under the impression that love is a concept that is utterly distant from me. The love that I came into was cramped, yet big, and it felt burdensome at times. You said I am strong, but the truth is that I was weak and faint-hearted until the very last time I faced you. I've only grown so ironclad after I lost you. Why did I miss everything while you were still by my side? Why do I spend the whole night longing for you and regretting only after you have parted from me? I do have one regret regarding you. I cannot trust my feelings for you. I was too afraid to tell you that you're my everything the night before you left me. Moments of loneliness will come as I live. It won't be a thirsty longing for love, however. It is when I look to my side, yet there is no one next to me. When I am worn out from running somewhere, when I feel that my heart grows heavy rather than painful. Trying new things might let me forget it for a moment, but the memories will still follow me for life. When I feel such things, I can go back to familiarity, a familiar place, a familiar mind, a familiar person, and I plan to reunite with you soon. I want to tell you that I no longer have shame for the path I've chosen, and that I have finally freed myself from the guilt. Another really heavy book reading there. Jeez, kind of feel bad. We took out Lowell and Xiao. Now, for the Impuritas, Civitatis. And there is some general receptions to do here. I'll probably start out the next one doing those, and I'll see you then. Peace.